All right. So you guys really seem to enjoy that deep dive on cassowaries a few weeks back.
Yeah.
And a bunch of you requested another flightless bird,
Mm-hmm.
specifically the Greater Rhea.
It's a good one.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't know a ton about them.
Okay.
So this will be fun
Yeah, should be.
to learn about.
Yeah.
So I did some reading this morning, though,
Okay.
from some reputable sources
Right.
to get ready.
Oh,
And I'm pretty excited to dig into this.
good.
We always say that a deep dive is more fun
Yeah.
if we're learning about it together.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why would we just tell you stuff you already know?
Exactly.
So
It's more like a...
the Greater Rhea is
Yeah.
native to South America,
Mm-hmm.
and it is the largest bird on the continent.
Yeah, that's right.
And it is flightless.
Despite being 5 feet tall.
Yeah. So to start off, I mean, imagine a bird.
It's as tall as a refrigerator.
Yeah, like taller
A lot of people are surprised by that.
than an average refrigerator.
Or like, what? A
Yeah.
5 foot tall bird.
Yeah, that's huge.
It is.
And then on top of that,
Right.
it's flightless, but it can run 37 miles an hour.
Yeah, like a cheetah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It is.
So how does a flightless bird
Well,
get that fast?
it's all about adaptation,
Yeah.
over millennia.
Yeah.
The Greater Rhea has evolved to be very, very fast on the ground, right?
Right.
And so those long legs that they have, they're powerful and they
Yeah.
act like springs, right? So they can really propel themselves forward.
Mm-hmm.
And they have these large feet
Yeah.
with 3 toes
Okay.
that grip the ground and give them great traction.
Hmm.
And even though their wings aren't used for flying,
Right.
they do help with balance and maneuverability.
Oh, right.
So when they're running,
Mm-hmm.
they can make quick turns
Okay.
and dodge obstacles. So it's really fascinating to see them in action.
Yeah, I bet. So they basically traded flight
Yeah,
for speed on the ground.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
So speaking of being on the ground,
Yeah.
what does their habitat look like?
So picture like vast stretches of open terrain.
Okay.
Grasslands, savannas,
Mm-hmm.
even scrublands.
Okay.
And you'll find them across a large swath of South America.
Mm-hmm.
So Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Paraguay, and Uruguay.
Wow, so that's a pretty big range.
Yeah, it is.
And are they pretty like tied to that?
They've actually adapted really well to agricultural areas too,
Oh, wow.
which
That's pretty adaptable.
speaks to their resilience, I guess.
Yeah, so they can basically survive kind of wherever,
Pretty much, yeah.
as long as it's kind of
As long as there's enough open space,
open and
sources.
Yeah, okay. So, and speaking of food,
Yeah.
what do they eat?
So Greater Rheas are omnivores,
Okay.
which means they have a pretty diverse diet.
So they're not picky.
No, not at all.
All right. Well, what kinds of things do they eat?
So they graze on leaves
Okay.
and fruits.
Mm-hmm.
They'll gobble down seeds and insects.
Okay.
And they've even been known to snag a lizard
Really?
or a small mammal
Wow.
every now and then.
Yeah. So they're kind of like the ultimate opportunists.
Yeah, you could say that.
Right.
Yeah,
Whatever's around.
whatever's available.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. But, it's got to be more than just
Right.
filling their bellies, right?
Yeah, exactly. So because they have such a wide-ranging diet
Mm-hmm.
and they're foraging over these large areas,
Right.
they play a really important role in seed dispersal.
Okay.
So you can kind of think of them
Yeah.
as the gardeners of the grasslands.
Okay.
Right? They're moving around,
Yeah.
they're eating all these different things,
Mhm.
and then they're pooping out the seeds in different locations.
Okay.
And that helps to spread the
Yeah.
plants
Yeah. Yeah.
and maintain the diversity of the plant life.
That makes sense.
So it's a really important role that they play.
Yeah. So they're kind of like a keystone species then.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Right. Like they're keeping the whole ecosystem in balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So what about,
Yeah.
they're clearly very important to the ecosystem just by existing.
Mm.
What about their family life?
Oh, okay.
So what's that like?
This is where things get really interesting.
Okay.
So Greater Rheas have a mating system
Mhm.
called polygynandry.
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 Okay. I am not familiar with that word.
So imagine a system where both males and females
Okay.
have multiple mates.
Oh, okay.
That's polygynandry.
So it's kind of like
Yeah.
free love for everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And, it sounds chaotic,
Yeah, it does.
but it's actually a really effective way to ensure genetic diversity
Okay.
within the population.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right. And so the females will lay their eggs
Okay.
in a communal nest.
Okay.
And then the males take on the incubation duties.
Really?
Yes.
So the dads are doing all the work?
The dads are doing, the brunt of the work.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we're talking about a clutch of 10 to 60 eggs.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
That's a lot of eggs.
Okay.
And the male will sit on those eggs for over a month.
Oh, wow.
Protecting them from predators and the elements.
That's some serious dedication.
It is. It is.
So, okay, so then the chicks hatch.
Yeah.
What happens next?
So once the chicks hatch, the male basically becomes a single dad.
Wow.
He'll fiercely protect the chicks and teach them, everything they need to know to survive.
So the dads are really involved.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It's really unusual in the
Yeah.
bird world to see this level of paternal care.
Yeah.
But it's really remarkable.
So it's kind of amazing to me that you have this bird that can't fly,
Right.
but can run super fast.
Yeah.
It's got this crazy mating system where everyone's kind of doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Then the dads are super dedicated and they're really vital to the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
But sadly, I know that they're also facing threats, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
So what's going on there?
So, like many species,
Yeah.
the Greater Rhea does face a number of threats.
Okay.
So, they do have natural predators.
Okay. Like what?
Jaguars, pumas, foxes, birds of prey.
Okay.
And these predators mainly target the young chicks.
Okay.
The vulnerable ones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But the biggest threat to the Greater Rhea really comes from human activities. So habitat loss due to agriculture and deforestation is shrinking their home ranges.
Right.
And then hunting and egg collection also contribute to the decline in their populations.
Yeah, it's such a familiar story.
It is.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it sounds like things are pretty serious for the Greater Rhea.
Yeah, they are.
So what's being done to help them?
So the International Union for Conservation of Nature, or the IUCN, currently classifies the Greater Rhea as near threatened.
Okay, and what does that mean?
So that means they're close to being considered vulnerable.
Okay.
But there's hope.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
What kind of hope? What are people doing?
So conservation efforts are focusing on a few things.
Okay.
Protecting their remaining habitats, establishing legal protections against hunting and egg collection.
Yeah.
And even implementing breeding programs.
Oh, cool.
To help boost their numbers.
Okay, that's great. So it's good to know that people are fighting for their future.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think we've learned a lot today.
Yeah.
About the Greater Rhea.
I think so. They're
fascinating creatures.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that they're so fast.
No, right.
Despite not being able to fly.
And their mating system.
Yeah.
It's just wild.
It's wild.
But then there's such dedicated dads.
Yeah.
It's like a paradox.
Yeah, it really is.
But they play such a crucial role in their ecosystem.
It really makes you wonder.
Yeah.
What would the South American grasslands look like without the Greater Rhea?
What would happen to all the plants if they weren't there to disperse the seeds?
Yeah. How would that
How would the ecosystem adjust?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Yeah.
Well, for you, our listener, maybe this will inspire you to learn more. There's a lot of information out there about the Greater Rhea.
Absolutely.
And their conservation.
Yeah. We've only scratched the surface today.
Yeah, just a little taste.
Right, it's just a little taste of all there is to know about this fascinating bird.
Yeah.
But hopefully you've learned something new.
Hopefully.
And maybe even feel a little bit of awe for this amazing creature.
I think that's a good goal.
Yeah, I think so too.
All right.
All right, well, we'll see you guys next week for another deep dive.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.